Shalom, Yasha'Allah, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh. I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Yasha'Allah. Call Haloyam La Yahweh Wa Yahweh Shai by Hasham Harakakodash for blessing our elders with the spirit of truth so that we may know. Shout out to the Akim and the Akwaf that's keeping the faith in the work. Shall keep at it. It's your brother Abaya coming at you with more precepts. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Alright, so the Lord let us know that there will be signs, so that we can keep track of the times. Alright, so basically always stay on point. Because if you're watching, then, matter of fact, let me go to Matthew 24. And that's not what I'm looking for. So I want to say. Matthew 24 and verse 42 says, Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched, and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not the Son of Man cometh. Alright, so if you're watching, then you stand a better chance to be prepared when the Son returns. Right? So, like I said, the Lord left signs behind. And one of those signs was, uproars of the people, nation versus nation, kingdom versus kingdom, and leading up to the actual event of, Jacob's trouble, going into, the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15. But the reason why I'm bringing this out is because of what's going on in Indiana, right? Gary, Indiana, and the surrounding areas. They've been in the dark for over a week now, and people don't know, right? Which is it's a crazy thing, and the only reason me and other brothers know is because of social media. And everybody has social media, but it's we know because of what we like, what we share, right? What we make content on, the things that we stay watching. Similar videos always pop up in our algorithm, right? Because that's how that works. Whatever you constantly watch is gonna show up in your algorithm, right? And what I kept seeing was, so-called blacks, which Gary, Indiana is basically a so-called black town, being in the dark and nobody doing anything about it. Similar to what happened in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina. No aid, no anything. And they also saying that the aid that they sent were getting shot at, which is ridiculous, right? If I'm in the dark for a week, right? And matter of fact, if the craziest person I know, right, the illest minded individual I know is in the dark for a week, and they send a repairman to get us out of the dark, the craziest individual I know is not going to shoot at the service man. If anything, he going to walk out there and ask the service man what took him so long. Hold a full-fledged conversation with the service man and get information as to, who told him not to come and so forth and so on. Right? And they damn sure ain't going to shoot at the people that's coming to bring light or shed light on, in their darkness. So, like I said, it's just like in the time of Katrina, where you had these different individuals that were going into our neighborhoods and straight up causing chaos because, you know, they really didn't have regulations. It really wasn't a person to say don't do this and don't do that, right? And it's the same thing that's going on in Indiana, right? They in the dark. They don't have light. They don't have, a lot of people running out of gas. They don't have anything. They running out of food, right? You can't go to the store. The stores in the dark. I'm almost certain whatever food is in the stores is about bad right now, you know. And I heard a lot of brothers say that this could possibly be, you know, one of them situations to where, like 2019, 2020, they're trying to see how the people are going to react. And I can see that because I understand how the devil get down. I know this devil, he don't mind throwing a whole town into darkness in order to, you know, experiment on, basically. But I'm gonna let some videos play. I'll be back.
I cannot believe no one is over here helping Gary.
Thousands of people in Gary, Indiana have been without power since August 11th.
The National Weather Service informed us that Gary faced the strongest winds, which reached 99 miles per hour, equivalent to a Category 2 hurricane.
All the power is out, as far as I know, all across Gary, Indiana.
They're losing food. Homes are getting warmer. They do not have money, and some of the cards aren't even working. I ran into some ladies that had children, and my heart broke.
My name's Aja, and I'm going on day 7 of having no power in one of Indiana's worst blackouts and one of the highest crime cities in Indiana.
NIPSCO, the company that services 100% of customers in Gary, announcing that it may be until next Tuesday until many people get power back.
We're on day 9 of no power in Gary, Indiana.
My neighbor across the street, my teacher down two streets down, we have no air in here.
Schools are closed. Families are throwing away spoiled food. People are driving to Illinois just to find ice for insulin.
I am from Gary, Indiana. I was born there, raised there until I was about 8 years old. My family is from there and people still live there. And many people are telling me that they still don't have power. They have trees on top of their homes. One of my cousins sent me this video of a grocery store completely decimated, food spoiled. This is also where the city gave people vouchers to, $150 of vouchers, but this was the only place that they could use the vouchers.
I, for one, have not seen anybody else outside of Gary, Indiana talk about what's going on in Gary, Indiana, and I don't like it.
Gary, Indiana specifically is also almost 85% black. That's important.
I think this should be national news, and it's crazy to me that it's not being talked about.
You all want us to believe that while NIPSCO, the utility company, was helping to get the power turned back on in Gary, Indiana, this predominantly black neighborhood, that someone of this predominantly black neighborhood that is in need of electricity and water and food decided to shoot up the utility vehicle. And you want us all to believe that because you want the narrative to consistently be that the black community is ruthless. You want the narrative to have a level of savagery, so that way it can be excused as to why there is no urgency to help this specific community. Because you see white people all in the comment, oh, that is to be expected. Who didn't expect that? Anyone with a logical fucking brain. I implore the black community to not take these narratives on, especially if not one of us can corroborate that story with our own eyes. Because remember, during Hurricane Katrina, or what I call the Katrina Massacre, folks didn't find out until 20 plus years later that white folks and police were hunting black people, and that the bulk of people did not die because weather conditions or that a levee broke, but because someone decided to treat it like it was hunting season. You all want us to believe that while NIPSCO, the utility company, was helping to get the power turned,
which is facts. I say once I saw that Hurricane Katrina documentary, that opened my eyes to a lot of things pertaining to that situation. And I say I would imagine the same thing is going on in Indiana. It remind me of the Purge movie. You know, in fact, I saw one video where it was this young girl that, or this young lady that took her and her daughter. They got an express flight out of there, and she was saying that it was like a horror movie. It was real life, you know, purge situations that was going on in Gary. So she had to get out and wasn't coming back until the power came back on. I want to say she went to go stay with her mom or something. But I wouldn't be surprised if this devil, you know, experimenting on the people. You look at the different patents that this devil has and the things that this devil can do with all sorts of things, man. Weather. This devil even got a patent on some piece of equipment that can push thoughts into your mind. Like it'll have you thinking that you hearing voices in your head, and it's them. As a matter of fact, let me show you.
All right, so I wanted to let you guys know that it's very likely they're going to start deploying this weapon. This is a real weapon. It is real. They're going to start deploying this weapon more and more.
So I'm going to read this. It says, notable patents and concepts. Several patents have, I'm thinking it's occupied technical methods. I'm not sure. And systems to achieve this. It says U.S. patent 4,877,027 describes a hearing system that uses radiating microwaves in specific bursts and frequencies modulated to induce the sensation of hearing. U.S. patent 6,470,214 filed by the U.S. Air Force. This details a method and apparatus for audibly communicating speech using the radio frequency hearing effect. Right? And it's another U.S. patent application 2020/0390360, which discusses systems and apparatuses meant to detect voices to skull, harassment, and remotely identify operators, so forth and so on. So they have the technology. All right? So this devil, I wouldn't be surprised, man. That's all I'm saying. Like, if you haven't heard about HARP, let me see if I got some.
All right.
What? Really happening in Colombia, Indonesia, and all around the world is all by design. These earthquakes are man-made, and we have a whistleblower to prove it. Former Raytheon contractor Eric Heckner says not only do these weapon systems cause earthquakes, but they also were the ones behind the fires in Lahaina, Hawaii.
Unfortunately, when they first fired it up, that was when we had the earthquakes in Christchurch, New Zealand. There was 2 incidental shots before they were able to target it correctly. This is an earthquake-generating device as well. This is the weapons of war that we have to deal with now and what Raytheon's hiding. The Atmospheric Research Observatory is in what we call the clean air sector. I witnessed myself a very powerful green laser shooting out of the top of this facility into the cosmos. This, I believe, is a secondary form of long-range communications and or a defense system.
Of course, all this is for entertainment purposes only. I don't actually think our government did any of these things.
Yeah, like he said, for entertainment purposes only. But I also understand how this devil get down. Right? So don't take none of this as fact. The U.S. patents that I just read off, or the HARP machine just shown, right? Or the theories that's being presented. This is all for educational purposes / entertainment purposes. You know, you gotta speak that way because of YouTube, right? But nevertheless,
it's not like they've ever done anything bad to us in the past with 9/11 or COVID, right? It's not like Antarctica is the only place in the world where all of our leaders somehow can come into agreement. Guys, it's not like former world leaders spoke out against these earthquake-causing weapon systems. Oh, wait.
Saying that the U.S. Navy launched a weapon capable of inducing a powerful earthquake off the shore of Haiti. He adds that this time it was only a drill, and the final target is destroying and taking over Iran.
Did you catch that last part? He said these weapon systems would be used to help take out Iran. Who are we at?
Actually, he said the final target would be Iran. Okay?
Or with again? Are we awake yet? What's really happening in Colombia?
So, yeah. Stay aware, stay watching, so that this devil don't get one over on you. Because really all of this is leading up to this digital world order, right? I wouldn't be, once again, the brothers, I keep hearing, and it makes sense. The grid of the daughter of Babylon, which is America, is so weak that it could easily be taken down. So that means that all of the daughter of Babylon could be thrown into darkness. I would also argue that would be a strong reason of why they keep putting these data centers up all over the daughter of Babylon, to draw the power from the top and take it underneath, right? So you can have either some kind of attack or flip of a switch to cut the power off. Either way it goes, right? And watch the people, just like I would assume one would do if it were happening in Indiana. Watch the people, see how chaotic it gets. Then cut the lights back on and say, well, we need to implement the digital identification, and along with the digital identification, we need to implement, this digital currency because of whatever, right? To protect the people and so forth and so on. And I wouldn't be surprised, because we understand how this devil gets down. But this is Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in Yahweh and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of power, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. NIV. Put on the full armor of God, so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. Call Haloyam La Yahweh Wa Yahweh Shai Bahasham Harakakadai Shalom Yasha Allah Abba Baba.